Hey guys, I'm John. There's Pat behind the camera. And today we're going to do some knife testing. Woohoo! But not our normal knife testing. Usually we do like small pocket knives, folders. We're going to try some like big fixed blade knives. Something we haven't done before. So we're up here in the woodland area behind my house. And we got this fallen tree right here. So we're going to try and hack through it with this knife. This is the Mtech USA. I forget the exact model number, we'll annotate it. But basically what it is a knockoff of the Cold Steel Trailmaster. Oh well, I guess we can look at the sheath. The sheath is like a Cordura nylon button snap, which I like, instead of Velcro belt loop. Pretty basic. You're not going to be like hooking this thing on your pack or whatever, but it's cool just to keep it from poking a hole in your backpack. The knife itself, big thick knife. See how thick that is? It's almost like a 1/4 inch thick. Full flat ground. It came decently sharp. I think I did a paper test on it. It wasn't super impressive. Cross guard, it's got a rubber handle. I know the real Trailmaster has a Kraton handle, but this is rubber. So we'll see how that is. Right now it feels pretty comfortable and pretty grippy with the gloves on. But that's enough talking.
Now John, is that not your second knife?
I was going to keep that a secret, but yeah. Oh. This is actually the second one I bought, because I got one maybe a couple weeks ago, went in my backyard, tried to baton with it, and it actually broke right here at the cross guard. Snapped clean off after like 2 whacks, like nothing. It was embarrassing how quickly this thing broke, and I was not trying to break it. So Amazon was awesome, they sent me another one. And we're gonna give it a try. We're gonna give it a second chance. Maybe that one was just a fault.
Redemption.
Yeah, redemption. They're like 20 bucks, so I'm not trying to break this, but if it breaks, I'm not gonna be heartbroken. So basically what we're gonna do is actually gonna try and cut through this. And this tree is dead, so this is actually gonna be a pretty decent test for it. Start off some delimbing. So far, so good.
Is it still in one piece?
Hasn't broken yet.
That's a start.
Let's get, you want to continue doing some delimbing?
Alright.
That's fine. So far, so good.
Any dent stinks or anything like that?
Nope. The coating is starting to wear. You can see it's going to start to wear. I think it's just paint. But it says right here, 440 stainless, so it's not like super high quality. It's gonna dull pretty quickly, but I should be able to put an edge on it. Does that quickly. Alright, what do you say? We try and go through some big stuff?
Do it.
Right through a knot.
Take a look at that.
So like I said before, the philosophy, well actually I didn't say this, but so like the philosophy on these big knives is that they're supposed to like simplify life out in the woods. Like you're supposed to be able to like cut through trees and
like totally like
sticks.
Yeah, like
this is a lot of work. Why do people do this? Like, well, yeah, like as
totally.
if. But yeah, when we go camping, we usually pick up like this kind of stuff, like small sticks, stuff like your wrist size. You can break in between trees.
Or with boot strength.
Like a man. So I don't know how this is more efficient than that. I mean, if it's raining, I guess like only the dry wood is going to be on the inside of these trees. But I've gotten fire started in the rain before.
jeez.
Woo.
She ain't budging. What's the verdict, John?
I mean, so far the knife is actually holding up real well. There's no chips from what I can see. Nothing. You can see the finish is wearing right there. It might. We're gonna try batoning with this, and it might just wear clean off. It's still relatively sharp. So yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and say that this is actually fairly decent. We didn't really get to this, but this stuff is. I mean, you can hear it when it hits how hard this stuff is. How about this? Let's try and break the tip off. Try doing some like for that stuff. Woo. Don't ever do this with your knife. I was gonna break that.
Yeah?
Yeah. I could just see it.
Do it.
I don't want to break the tip off.
You'll get another one from Amazon.
Alright, so it's alright.
Overall,
bypass
junk.
On bypass junk? I won't know until we do a baton test on it.
That's true, so we'll find out soon. Boom.
Alright, we're going to try doing some batoning with this Mtech, see if we can get the paint to wear itself off, or see if we can break it, because I did break one of these doing this exact same thing. So what's nice about this blade is it's actually really thick and it acts almost like a wedge going through the woods. And this one seems to actually be doing quite well. It's pretty decent.
It's been breaking half on you.
Not yet. Sorry. Hey guys, John and Pat here again, doing some more knife testing out in the woods. And the knife that we have this time to show you is the Camillus Carnivore. This is a knife that I picked up at Walmart for around 30 bucks. And we're gonna try and thump on it, see how it performs. Right off the bat, the thing we've been doing is going over what the sheath looks like. The sheath is actually fairly decent. It's riveted together. It's got a plastic insert covered in nylon. The loop is big enough to fit your belt through clearly.
Even if you're a fat man, you could fit your belt through that.
Even if you have one of those like weightlifting belts, you could still put that on there.
You could have like 6 people side by side.
You can see through it, if that's important. But yeah, and the closure on it, or the retention strap on it, I don't like Velcro, because you like put your sheath on the ground and then it gets like leaves and stuff all in it. So I'm not really a fan of that. I wish I had a snap. I think I might put a snap on it. You can buy them at like any hardware store. They're pretty cheap. But I might put a snap enclosure on there just to make it a little bit better. But the knife itself looks like this. The thing is a freaking beast of a knife. As you can see, it's a blunt tip, and there's a lot of like, from the packaging, there's a lot of like hyping up of this knife. First of all, it says it's like titanium bonded, so it's like 3 times harder steel, life, lasts longer, blah 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 blah. I don't really believe in any of that. Titanium is mostly a coating on these kind of knives, and I don't see how a coating can make a knife's edge last longer. They call this like a wire cutter. It looks more like a gut hook to me, but it's not really that sharp, so I don't see that working. They say the front you can use it as a chisel, but it's not sharpened right there, so I don't know how you can chisel with it. This right here, this whole, I guess it's a blunt tip so you can dig with it. I would never dig with a knife. So there's a lot of weird stuff. It's half serrated, but they don't call them serrations, they actually call it a saw. Which these are not a saw, these are serrations. But these are not, this is not a saw, these are serrations. But we're gonna give it a go and see if it'll perform. So yeah, let's start off by just testing out the serrated saw, see if it actually works. Okay, so I'm gonna do, that's as much as that I'm gonna do because I can already tell you that it's not a saw. If you ever look at a saw, have you ever seen one that's hollow ground? No. Wanna know why? Because once you get to right here, it widens out and then you bind. So you can get about that deep before the saw starts to bind on you. So how is it a saw? How does that even make any sense? Stupid. Dumb. They're serrations. And I hate them. They're gonna break off. I'm willing to bet. But the only thing I can think of like a saw like this would be useful for is if you're like notching to make like tent pegs, which we can actually probably do. Try and make a couple tent pegs. But now that stupidness about the saw is over, let's try and do some chopping with it. It's not super heavy. They market it as a machete, but it's pretty thick and it's not flexible. So I'm gonna call it a survival knife and we're gonna try it out. Let's see how she chops.
I'll tell you right now, it's working better than mine did.
It's got a lot of reach to it, so that's actually pretty sick. If you grab it here, lower on the handle, you can actually get it to whip around a little bit. That's actually kind of sick. Like I was like kind of ragging on this knife at first. It's going through quite well. Is it sharp?
Still pretty sharp.
See if we can make it all the way through. You're just gonna go already?
What's the ball?
Pretty sick.
Nice. Now let's baton it.
Baton the bitch. Ooh. Transfers a lot of vibrations back to the handle on this one.
That wood's also the harder half.
I don't think it's going to happen. It just doesn't have that nice wedge shape as the other one does.
Oh.
Actually, here's something we can talk about the Mtech on. The Mtech has a swedge on it, which is actually almost sharpened, which beats the crap out of your batons, and then you can break them like this.
The Mtech or the Carnivore, you mean?
The Mtech. The Carnivore is flat on the top. I think I still got enough here to keep going. God damn, that does a lot of shock to your hand. I think I'm done with that one. Yeah, I'm done with that. That doesn't work at all. It's too thin. I mean, as you can see, it doesn't split the wood apart. It's trying to push through it. It's just too thin to do this. So I'm trying.
Not happening. Action.
Alright guys, so we just got finished testing these two knives. Let's start with the Camillus, say what I like about it. So first off, right off the bat, I love the sheath. It's really sturdy. The only thing I don't like is this cheapy Velcro, whatever it's called, tie up here. It just, I mean, you can just get some, already there's stuff in it. And once you get dirt and debris in there, it just doesn't stick that well anymore. So, I mean, that's overall the sheath. I actually really do like the sheath. I think it hangs nice and low on your belt if you're going to do it that way. Hangs like a machete, because it is a machete. The blade shape, it's meh. I wish it was more conventional blade shape with some kind of tip. Although this is a really strong tip, you're not going to break this off. I mean, you can stab it into whatever, and nothing's going to break off because there's no sharp tip to it. The hype that they put on the package for this knife, take it for what it is. It's still sharp after what we did. I mean, this was not the end-all be-all test. We really didn't try and abuse these knives, mostly because we spent our own money on them, and I don't really want to break stuff that I spent money on.
True that.
True. The saw does not work at all because, like I said, if you look at a saw, they're flat ground. They don't have a relief edge to them. They're just flat ground, and that's how they slide through nice and clean. This, if you try and cut with it, it stops right there, right where the edge bevel starts. So yeah, those are just serrations, but they actually do work really well when they chop. They really bite in and they cut real hard. They do cut, and actually, when this will get dull on you, the serrations will generally still cut, which is nice. We didn't try this thing out. I'm going to say it's useless. All it does for me is makes it weaker in this portion of the knife. If it wasn't there, I think it'd be a stronger design. But yeah, I really like this knife. Chopping, thing rock, like, it was awesome. Batoning, it's just not thick enough. It's really thin, and it just really didn't work. You need a thicker blade to really spread apart that piece of wood. Almost like, actually, this right here. This is a splitting maul for splitting wood. And as you can see, it's really wide in this angle, so that when it goes through the wood, it actually separates. This, however, does not, because it's just so thin. But for chopping, it's awesome. For being a machete, it's one of the better machetes I've ever used. I mean, I've broken machetes before, like just chopping with them. So this thing held up really well. The other knife was this Mtech wannabe Cold Steel Trailmaster, and I was actually pretty impressed with it this time. The first time, as I said, I broke it. Right here at the crossguard, I was not happy at all. I literally, like what you saw us doing batoning with this knife, it was less than that, and it broke the knife. So I'm thinking that it was just a factory defect or something, and that this knife is actually pretty solid. The paint is wearing off, which it obviously will wear off because it's paint. So yeah, overall, they're both really awesome knives. But if I had to make my pick on which one I prefer, I'd have to go with the Mtech. Knowing what I know now, with this second version, the new one that I just got, really like this knife. Why do I like it over the Carnivore? Because you can baton with it. You can split through wood with it. This one you can't. So that makes this
well, you could, but with more effort.
It sends a lot of shock to your hand because it's flexible metal. It's thin, so it just sends a lot of vibrations to your hand, and it hurts to baton with it. This thing is like a splitting maul. It's amazing. So, I mean, overall, I'm going to make my choice. It's going to be the Mtech because of those reasons. That it can. This one can chop, but not baton. This one can chop and baton.
And still be a knife. And
still be a knife. It's got nice belly to it. You could use it for cutting food or whatever. You could be like a soldier with it and like slash up zombies and stuff. Although you could do that with this one too. These are great zombie killing methods. That's a lie. But yeah, so Pat, what do you think?
I would have to agree with the Mtech. I don't know. The Carnivore, I just also don't like the camouflage handle.
Yeah, that's gooberish. The handle is pretty comfy though. This one's more comfortable.
It's rubberized.
It's rubberized.
Final verdict, bypass junk.
I'm gonna give them both a buy. you're getting better value out of this one. This one's $30. This is 20 bucks. I got this at Walmart. I got this on Amazon. Really happy with it. Like I said, I mean, for 20 bucks, I mean, you're not going to find a knife this size that you can do this kind of work with. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the review. As always, check out our website, the Climb Survival Gear. Subscribe if you would like to, or if you're already subscribed, thank you very much. What else? We have a Twitter, we have a Facebook. Check out Facebook. We're putting a bunch of new pictures up there. I've been doing a lot of rock climbing lately.
Hey, so have I.
Well, no, I'm just saying, with me and you have been doing a lot of rock climbing lately. So we have some pictures of that. Pitches of that. So that's going to go up on Facebook. So yeah, go check that stuff out. And as always, stay classy.